for the brand new thing. Good, yeah, I'm on one. Went from broke to having everything I wish, huh? We ain't slowing up, this a light speed. A lot of y'all ran out of gas trying to catch me. Dang, it's a new thing, man, it's a new dream. Can't nobody stop me, fake kinda obscene. Man, I'm trying to plant a money tree in the concrete. Yeah, this a do it till I die kind of vibe. I don't see myself, I just do it for the tribe. I can see me ever giving up, it's alive. Make the whole world come alive, yeah, yeah. Get ready for the new thing, let me hear you. Let me hear you. Get ready for the new thing, let me hear you. Get ready for the brand new thing. Let me hear you. Let me hear you. Let me hear you.
The Series S has officially been announced by Microsoft, and thank God it has, because this thing was starting to leak worse than me playing Sea of Thieves single player on a galleon. Lots of information to go through tonight. My name's Phlapp, and tonight we're joined by Pux. Hi, Pux.
Hello there.
So lots of information to go through. I know lots of sort of sites have covered this. We thought we'd take our turn. So Pux, it happened today, and it almost seemed like Microsoft's hand were forced. What did you make of it?
Woke up this morning, quickly checked my Twitter feed, and I started seeing all of these tweets come through. And then I verified it. I thought I'll go to the Xbox UK channel. This could just be more fake news that people put out there and really good Photoshop skills. When I watched the video, I saw it was official, watched it all. I loved the box. I loved what I saw. But even more, I absolutely loved the price point, because we talk about it. We've spoken about this for a long time. And 250 quid for a brand new next-gen system. Like, I think that's absolutely crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, just for clarification, and I don't believe there's a single person watching this that doesn't know all of the numbers and statistics, but $300 in the States, 300 euros, and 249 of your Great British pounds, which for a brand new console, and not just a mid-gen upgrade, this is a brand new next-generation console for those prices is phenomenal. Phenomenal. So well done, Microsoft. I mean, I hate you to bits for leaving us dangling like this, but my God, well done for the price. Absolutely.
I mean, and the other specs as well. Like, you know, if it was about a quarter of the size. It looks sleek. It doesn't have a disk drive, which obviously, as we've spoken about before, helps keep the cost down. But I mean, the world is moving to a point where I think in the next maybe 5 to 10 years, I imagine more people will probably start downloading games as opposed to buying physical disc. That may not happen. That's yet to be seen, but it's going to sell. I mean, I was very tempted myself to think, you know what? Do I need the Series X if I can just save a load of money and just get a Series S?
It's a valid question.
I don't know yet. I obviously want to see more details about the Series X and obviously new games coming out. But, oh man, I was so hyped this morning that we finally heard about it. But what's even more interesting is that it's the only system we actually officially know the price for. We don't even know what the Series X is going to cost yet.
That's a very good point, actually. Yeah, I've not even thought of that. Yeah, you're right. It's that's bizarre, isn't it? It's the last one to be released and the first one with a price. Good point.
I mean, I think a lot of people are still surmising that it'll probably be around $499, as in $499 or pounds or whatever. Nobody knows.
So there were rumors early on that the Series S was going to cost roughly half the price of the Series X. So obviously in Great British pounds, that means the Series X is coming in at 500 GBP, possibly $600 US. I don't know if there's going to be $100 gap or £100 gap between the US and the UK prices. I think that's more likely to be a £50 difference, if you see what I mean.
It's usually the way it is with consoles here, isn't it?
It does tend to be so.
Difference.
$600 US, 550 Great British pounds, perhaps. Perhaps they'll do a $600, £500. Don't know. But my God. And to be honest, I think this is a lot smaller than people are giving it credit for, because when they showed you the comparison on the video, what people aren't doing is they're kind of looking at the height of it and it's thinking, okay, it's the same sort of height as an Xbox Series X. And it's also a very similar height to an Xbox One X. But what they're not taking into consideration, I don't think, is how thin this thing is with regards to the depth of this Xbox Series X. It's nowhere near as chunky as the One X. It's probably 2/3 the width of a One X.
I think it's crazy how thin they've got it, and of course you can see that massive round grille that they have on the front. So I can only imagine they've got some super high-end fan and cooling system running through and trying to get all that hot air out.
I'm guessing vapor chamber. It's almost got to be, almost got to be, because I think that will be the third console they've used that on. Obviously, the other two being One X and Series X. So I'd be amazed if this didn't. So the looks. I mean, I posted a tweet on Twitter earlier, just to gauge to see how people felt about the looks, and this was kind of the result. So what do we think of the Xbox Series S? Sorry, I got the spelling wrong there. Although I did make a comedy tweet about that afterwards. So I obviously wasn't getting much coming in on that hashtag. But so only 41 votes, but 73%. So basically 3/4 thought actually it looks great, and the other quarter, it looks a bit janky with that grille. So
yeah, fair enough.
What's your thoughts on it personally?
As soon as I saw it, I absolutely loved it. I mean, I know we're so used to seeing, a clean-looking box, whether it's white or black or grey, whatever colour it is. But I don't know. I mean, we saw the Series X. We know it's basically like a refrigerator, was what we've seen the memes for. Obviously, it's got the massive grille and the holes on the top, so all that the fan can get all the hot air out of the top. And I think, well, if it's that powerful that you need such a big fan and they want that ventilation, then they're going to have to do something similar with a smaller model. Because from looking at the tech specs, assuming that these are the most up-to-date ones, I mean, the CPU side of things is exactly the same as the Series X. There's no difference there. It's still running off AMD Ryzen custom architecture, or it's based on Zen 2. It's the GPU which is different. So obviously that's where a lot of the power and the cost comes down. But obviously there's still a lot of power and heat which needs to be dissipated somewhere. And I don't know, I really liked it. I thought it gave it I want to say a retro look, but at the same time, I think it looks really modern and new.
That's interesting. Yeah, retro look. I kind of get that. I think the two-tone. I'm not sure I'm keen on it, to be honest. I think I need to see it a little bit more. I mean, it's not even been 24 hours in our sort of psyche yet for us to formulate a decent opinion of it, perhaps. And seeing a photo of it without any particular scale probably doesn't help, because that grille looks massive, but actually what you're not taking into account is how tiny the machine is in the first place. So it might not be quite as bad as it looks.
I did see some good Photoshop renders of it, of people basically putting like the Xbox X over the whole grille. And when I saw
which one? What, One X or Series X?
The Series S, sorry. So obviously the black grille that you can see in front of the white casing around it. People were photoshopping the Xbox X kind of over that in like a nice white or like a light grey, and it looked really smart. As in, it looked like a massive Xbox button, and I thought that looks really cool. I mean, that's a slight little touch which I think could make it look cool, but you never know. Maybe Microsoft will release something in the future, but it's a pipe dream for now. But
I also posted a tweet about the memes rolling in, and it didn't take long. So let's just have a quick look at these memes. It's a bit of fun, I guess. So let's go with the first one. Some are better than others, so let's go with this one first. So placing your order at McDonald's, yeah. So that's quite fun. It does look like a speaker, doesn't it? So talking of speakers, we've got the Xbox Series 2.1 speaker system.
Series X left and right channel. I like it.
Yeah, I kind of see
Series X subwoofer.
Yeah, so that's kind of comical, and of course the obvious sort of. It's not a million miles off that, is it?
This is fantastic. I like it.
And the last one, which is possibly my favourite, which actually incorporates two memes in one.
I've not seen any of these.
The fridge and the washing machine. I had a lot of fun actually finding these on Twitter, to be honest.
Oh, that's a great one, yeah.
So that's Series S. To be honest, we're not going to go into lots of detail and stuff. We do have our weekly podcast on Sundays, so we will probably broach this subject then. This is just a bit of an overview, give you our opinions, give a little bit of a laugh around what's going on out there. So let's move on with our next topic then, really, because it's not just about the Series S. So I tweeted the other day about some good news stories for Series X, because before, obviously, the Series S landed news-wise, everyone was a bit in humdrum, and I thought, you know what, we need some good news stories. And to be honest, some came our way, and the first one that kind of came our way was the Witcher 3. So tell us about the Witcher 3, Pux. What's the deal with that on next gen?
Yeah, so basically, we've been told that Witcher 3 is having a next gen upgrade being released for both Xbox and PS5. We know it's going to support ray tracing, which I thought was really cool. And obviously, with the new power of the systems, we're going to see faster load times. And I think we're also going to see some 4K upscaling as well. I know that's not officially confirmed, but that's something which is been going around the down the pipeline as well. And unfortunately, there's no official date for when these next versions are going to come out yet. But we'd like to think, as the game does exist already, it's been out for a number of years. 2015, I believe it came out. So it's a good number of time now. Most people would have played it. I say that I haven't actually fully played it. I've only jumped into it a bit. So knowing that these are coming to next gen, for me, I think it's actually really exciting. It's a good opportunity for me to dive in.
What better excuse for you to dive in again? So I'm guessing, so these are actually beyond the PC specs at the moment, aren't they? Or not so much specs, but upgrades, because I don't believe PC has ray tracing at all, does it? So this is obviously a bespoke version for the next generation consoles. Did you say it's coming to PC as well, or don't you know?
It does. There's no statements that confirm that at all. So far, we only know that it's coming to both Xbox Series X. And another key point, it's at no extra charge for owners on Xbox One. So it's actually part of the smart delivery, I believe.
Excellent. Well, I was coming to that because obviously CD Projekt Red is everyone's favorite studio at the moment, because not only have they delivered this Witcher, they also gave us another little bit of, I don't know if it was good news, but they certainly put everyone's mind at rest, because there was some rumors floating around that actually Cyberpunk 2077 might be delayed again. And CD Projekt Red were very quick out the gates to actually quash that rumor. And we're still on for the November release date. So everyone loved CD Projekt Red. What a great studio.
I think Cyberpunk is a game that we've been looking forward to and we've known about for a long time. We've been shown some good gameplay snippets throughout the last few months, or late last year, sorry, I should say. But we don't really see a lot more detail come out. And yet every time we do see the game, there seems to be a lot of dramatic change in the game. Like there was the additions of like body modifications that you can fully customize everything on your person, and it wasn't just going to be a first person running around in a futuristic setting. Yeah, it's interesting. I know we know a lot about the game, but I think equally we don't, which I think makes it a lot more exciting for people as well, because we don't really know what we're getting our hands into. Yet we know it's made by CD Projekt Red. They've done The Witcher. They've done all sorts of other titles which people love. And I think that's what's getting people hooked on it personally. I mean, it's because I don't know what it's about, why I want to play it more.
Well, that's a very good thing. Well, they released that sort of gameplay video. I think it was over an hour long, which was quite bold. I mean, CD Projekt Red have been very, very generous with what they've given us with Cyberpunk 2077 with regards sort of information about the game and what we've seen. And they've had two showcases as well, I believe, kind of demonstrating certain mechanics of the game and stuff. And yet, like you say, there's still so much I don't know. And they've done this very, very clever thing of actually giving us enough information to feel kind of satisfied, but still not hardly know anything about the game. It's fantastic. And of course, it was also on the NVIDIA GeForce showcase as well. So, you know, it's a fantastic title. And I'm really pleased Xbox have actually got the marketing rights to that. Not that you'd want to deny a different platform any sort of specialties like that. But I think it's a good win for Microsoft to have that under their wing, shall we say.
Especially as we know, been told all this stuff about Xbox Series X being the most powerful console out there or ever created. And we know all these top specs for it. So it's actually nice, as you say, knowing that we've got a game such as Cyberpunk, which is visually and I think systematically so complex that you need a system like that to be able to run it properly and to actually get the full experience. So yeah, I agree. I think it's great that Xbox have the marketing rights in this particular case.
Well, very excited, and we're still on for November. It looks like I heard a rumor that the Series S might be released in November the 10th.
It came up at the end of that video, I believe. Yeah, November 10th.
Oh, is that official? I wasn't aware if that was official.
I think it is.
Oh, I missed that.
Do not quote me on that, but from what I've seen, I believe that is the official release date. But it might change. We don't know of all these things, and obviously how the world is at the moment.
Well, Sony have been quiet still. They, I believe, tweeted that there won't be any news coming this week because, again, there were some rumors that Sony might come out the gates with some news this week. I think
that's because they've got a PlayStation VR event, I believe, later this week.
Exactly, and I think people were kind of assuming that might encompass, PlayStation 5, but again, it doesn't look like it will. So obviously, Sony is still holding out, but congrats to Microsoft for coming first out of the gates, although they were kind of forced into it. It does make you wonder what they were waiting for. But they weren't the only companies. Nintendo had quite a lot to release as well, actually. So tell us about Nintendo.
Yeah, so for any big Nintendo fans out there, I am one of them, 100%. You're probably aware that the Switch kind of had a bit of a drought in terms of releases recently. I think the most recent first-party title that we had released was Paper Mario: The Origami King back in July. We later heard news of Pikmin 3 Deluxe, but I'm not a big fan of those games, unfortunately. But no, out the blue, we've got a Super Mario 35th Anniversary Nintendo Direct presentation come out mid last week. And with it came a surprising number of announcements, a lot of which I think threw a lot of people off, but for the better. These are really good things, I think, are coming out of the gate.
So quickly run us through some of them then.
So it started off by showing the original Super Mario Bros. From the NES, but it was actually playing on a Game & Watch system. And
you've got a video of that.
Here we go. Yeah, so Nintendo are re-releasing the Game & Watch. I believe it was only last produced from 1985. And of course, back then they were just like small TFT screens with simple little gaming graphics on them. But we've got a new Game & Watch coming later this year. It's full LCD screen. It has Super Mario Bros. The full game on it. And I believe it's also got Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, which was originally a Japan exclusive way back in the day.
Cool.
And it's even got the fun Game & Watch features, like it's got like a built-in clock, and it's also got the original game called Ball, which is literally like based on an old TFT screen game with Mario's kind of like juggling these balls in the air, and you have to press the buttons to move his hands and catch the balls. It's
cool.
That's a nice little throwback. And then after that, they showed quite an interesting thing. It was called Super Mario Bros. 35. So if you have a Nintendo Switch and you have Nintendo Switch Online, you might be familiar with a game called Tetris 99. Which is basically Tetris Battle Royale. So the more lines that you get rid of, you send more blocks to other people's grids, and you have to be the last one standing. Super Mario Bros. 35 is basically the same concept as that. So you play the original Super Mario Bros. You go through each of the levels, not necessarily as quick as you can, because when you take out enemies, such as the Koopas in front of us and other enemies, they actually get binned off to other people's games on the left and right, as you can see. And as soon as you die, you're KO'd. And you can get all these power-ups and stuff, and you can run around and you can send all sorts of devastation to other people, and you have to be the last one standing. And I think it's really good. It's release coming out. Unfortunately, though, Nintendo have also confirmed, so it's coming out October 1st. It's a free download for Nintendo Switch Online subscribers, but it's limited time. It's only out until March 31st, 2021, which is the end of the end of the fiscal year. Nintendo are also calling that date as the end of the Mario 35th celebrations.
Well, I think Nintendo are the only company nuts enough to do that, but I think they've also got the IP that's big enough to do that as well. To be honest, 35 years of Mario is a massive deal, and so perhaps it does warrant this kind of rush to make sure you get it, because if you don't, that's it. You're not going to get it anymore.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's just one of those things where I think, because when Nintendo do stuff like this, people love it. And it's, for the most part, Nintendo do a really good job at delivering. Not always, I should point out, but 95% of the time, Nintendo deliver on the things that they want to do. So assuming that Super Mario Bros. 35 is as good as it looks, then I'd like to think that when the date comes, March 31st next year, I think a load of people are going to be disappointed, which is unfortunate. But so that was that news. That was really exciting. But then another bit of really odd but exciting news, if you're a Mario Kart fan, is a new game. I've got to make sure I get the name right here. It's called Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. We've got a picture here. So this was very bizarre in a good way. So top left corner image here, you've got remote control cars, and I think you can just about see it above Mario and Luigi's head. You've got like a small black square. So that's actually a camera. These remote control cars connect to the Switch, and on the top right corner, this is actually what you see on the Switch screen. And yeah, it's augmented reality Mario Kart, and it looks really interesting. And the idea is that I think there's parts in the video where it sets up that you've got like ink on the wheels, and you can drive around your room, and you basically create the track yourself, and then you basically do a complete lap, and then you can race around, and there's AI as you saw in that video. But you also, so if you've got like a second player that's got the Luigi one or another kart, So even in game, if you throw like a shell at someone, which in the game would usually stop you temporarily, it actually physically stops the car itself as well, which I thought
That's
was
cool.
really interesting.
That's clever.
It's obviously aimed more at children than adults. I think it's also retailing in the UK for about £100 as well.
Oh, not cheap then.
It's not the cheapest, no, and that's only for basically the car / the game. But I think the game is actually technically a free download, I believe, has also been said.
Okay.
So really, that £100 is for the car and obviously the tech that's in there. So unfortunate about the price, but I can understand why it's that price. And plus, it's Nintendo and it's Mario, so of course that kind of gets an automatic uplift as well. Unfortunately, but I think people will buy it. Moving on from that, we also did get some news about merchandise and clothing, and I think the most interesting one, which people like the look of, was a tie-in with Puma for some RS Dreamer trainers or sneakers, depending where you're from.
Yeah,
and they look like this, which I thought were interesting. I thought they're quite garishly red and blue. I mean, if you like wearing colourful shoes, you're going to love these, but I don't think they suit me too much, unfortunately.
yeah, it makes you wonder if you're going to see the cool kids wearing those, or if the nerds get beaten up for wearing those. But
so, I mean, I think they do come in adults and children's sizes, but I think they retail for about 120 to 150 pounds. I think.
Okay, wow.
And that's from Foot Locker UK officially, where you can get those from. But so, and there's like some other T-shirts and other stuff there being released, I think, on their general stores. So that was all good news. And then the last, but definitely not least, was the biggest announcement of the night, which was it was another open secret like the Series S. So this was actually the Super Mario 3D All-Stars Collection. So this is a Switch compilation of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy all coming to Switch, which for anyone who's a Nintendo fan, you've probably heard the rumors since about March, April time. I think a lot of people like myself are very excited for it, yet you also kind of, would Nintendo do that? But then they dropped this and it was like, oh my God, they're actually bringing them out. I think and I love these games. Admittedly, I call myself a Nintendo fan, but as a kid, I actually had a PlayStation. I didn't really know much about the N64. A friend of mine had one and I played Super Smash Bros. On that. And that's kind of what really got me into Mario at the time. But I was a PlayStation fan, so Mario 64 was a game I missed. I only really played the remake on the Nintendo DS originally. But no, I loved Super Mario Galaxy. I loved Super Mario Sunshine as well on the GameCube, and I can't wait for these to come out. And the best news of all is that these are coming out really soon on September 18th. But
wow.
I know, so it's really soon. But like Super Mario 35, and this is a strange one, these are a limited time release only. And that's not just the retail version, that's also the digital version as well.
Yeah.
Both are being pulled off of the stores and store shelves on the 31st of March 2021, which people think is absolutely bonkers. I mean, people are going to buy these outright and it's going to generate so much money for Nintendo. So a lot of people are like, why the hell are they doing this? And I think a lot of speculation online, and I agree with this, is that after that date, they will release each one separately, either as an individual digital download or maybe as a retail package as well.
Okay, well, wow. I mean, that's a blowout from Nintendo, isn't it? And to be honest, lots of Nintendo fans were desperate for a Nintendo Direct and lots of information. And my God, did they get it? And they got a lot of and this is a good thing about Nintendo is they do things that you don't quite expect, and they're a little bit quirky, and you kind of have to conform to how they do things. And the fans lap it up, and that's great to see. So this week's kind of, we've had Microsoft today. We've had Nintendo last week. When did all this information drop for Nintendo? Was it last week?
It was Wednesday or Thursday last week. Yeah.
So just the day after we went live on our last show. But so it's kind of only Sony left, really. Of course, we've still got Microsoft to give us the price of the Series X, the release date, the pre-order date, and the same for Sony. But really exciting times. I mean, I'm excited for every day and just see what happens. We've got a Tokyo Game Show. I wonder if Sony might do something around that. So, okay, well, that kind of wraps up today. So thanks for being with us, Pux.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the info. It's been brilliant. We are Green Pass Gaming. We have a live podcast on Sundays. We've started doing some gameplay videos with me and Pux. We have a bit of a laugh, try and inject some humor into there, revisit some old games. Love you to subscribe to the channel. Please like, share, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Get the word out. We're still new, we're still small, but we want to grow. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being with us.